So looking at this question, if the reduced dimensionality images form the X values, do we use the same technique to get the Y values? So I don't think, so we're not getting the Y values. There are two Y values that we're mentioning here in stacked autoencoder world. There is one X value and one Y value. And in any other neural network that we're using for training. And then later in the t-SNE dimensionality reduction algorithm, there's also X and Y. The first ones that come from the Fashion MNIST dataset are the X and Y values from the inputs to a training neural network and the outputs when they're classified. So if you input a shoe, maybe the class is number 5. If you input a shirt, maybe class is number 8. So you have inputs that are images and outputs that are the classified images. In the specific case of stacked autoencoders, we're inputting the image and outputting the image. That's why throughout the workshop, we didn't use the Y values. We were using the Y values as the colors for which to plot the data with. And that's like a validation that the t-SNE dimensionality reduction and the codings with the stacked autoencoders that we're obtaining make sense for this dataset, that they're actually being distributed by similarity. t-SNE is only reducing those 30 digits to 2 dimensions, right? So those 30 digits already represent similarity. If we could sort those 30-digit codings by similarity in a row, right? To the human eye, they wouldn't make sense, but if we plot the images, they would. What t-SNE does is that instead of having 30 dimensions, so they're not visible to the human eye, you go and try to plot them, right? So you squeeze those 30 digits, so 30-dimensional space, into a 2D space, which is X and Y. So we get those 30 numbers from the codings into 2D, that is X and Y. So the same method brings the codings from 30 digits to 2 digits, that is X and Y. The X train that we named before are the images. We don't have anything to do with the t-SNE dimensionality reduction algorithm. And the Y values that we were mentioning before were the categories of the data samples that we were plotting, that only served, as I mentioned before, to color the dots for each of the individual samples. In the case of the Fashion MNIST, right, the dataset is really segmented into shoes, shirts, boots, and many other things. And then when we plot them, as we saw before, we can actually see that the actual classes that are being rendered, if I go here and scroll up, well, we don't have it right now, but we saw it before where the classes actually match more or less the colors. But you can see that it's not exact, right? There are like colors here, like the blue and the pink only correspond to shirt, or I think maybe this other type of shirt, right? Where like these green, yellow ones are purses, but still their purses are getting mixed with these dresses, and even here. So yeah, they're two different, X and Y, right? So X and this Y are different from the X and Y of the X valid 2D. This variable here, X valid 2D, that we can actually see with more resolution here, it's actually, so this one here, this is actually 2D values. These are images and these are just labels. So if we plot, as we were doing before, the X valid 2D, what we get is just, and the notebook, yeah, we just get X and Y, X and Y. And that's just to plot the values. And these come from the codings. We've encoded the X valid into compress, which this is like an array of codings. And if we print this one, we're going to get like an array of 30-digit codings. And yeah, so that, I hope that that answers suggests a question. And thanks a lot for asking. I think this kind of wraps up conceptually a bit the last part of what we've done. Thank you. And for anyone who's watched, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. It was Nono Martinez Alonso here. You can check out more of the machine learning videos on my YouTube channel. Once again, it was Nono Martinez Alonso here. Thanks a lot for being there. I would appreciate your comments. If you have any questions, any suggestions, leave them on the video comments. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.